Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. This is Straight to the Point Tech. First things first, before we begin, I want to start and say thank you so much for the support. We are currently at 522 subscribers. Today, I will be announcing my giveaway. I'm getting the poll together. Apologies for the delay. But if you are new to the channel, please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, as well as turn on notifications so that way you know when I do drop the next video. The goal is 1,000 subscribers, so please for the continued support, and we will have a much bigger prize later on. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about arguably two of the best handheld gaming PCs on the market right now. Like, of course, you know, there's the Steam Deck OLED, which is an honorable mention. I love that device. It holds a special place in my heart. However, though, it is showing its age in the power department. Still a beautiful display. And then you have other things like the One X Fly Pro and all that junk that's out there. However, though, those aren't really the known devices, like the big known devices. I feel like these two are the bigger known devices that everybody is familiar with as far as the handheld gaming PC market. So today I'll be doing a phenomenal comparison for y'all because I want you all to know and understand that there is a major difference between both of these devices in the spec department. And with these two devices, some games perform better than others as well. So without further ado, let's get straight to it and talk about the specifications on paper. So first things first, let's talk about the Lenovo Legion Go 2, right? And specs on paper, right? So the Legion Go 2 is sporting an AMD Ryzen 2 Z2 Extreme, which has 8 cores, 16 threads, and Zen 5 architecture with the Radeon 890M RDNA 3.5 graphics. So it's a step up slightly from the Z1 Extreme. To elaborate a little bit more, basically, you're going to get an additional 10 to 15 to 20 frames per second in most cases. Now, for some, that may not be a lot, but for me, it is a lot. A lot of the times, you know, there are games that, perfect example, like the Red Dead Redemption 2s of the handheld PC gaming world, runs different on different devices, right? Like the Steam Deck OLED, you might get a solid 40 frames per second, but that's still not enough for me. But the Legion Go, like the original one, right? You might get the OG one, you might get 51 to 50 frames per second in most scenarios, but it may fluctuate between 47 to 52 frames per second. But this one, you're going to get a solid 60 FPS to 70 FPS in most cases, right? Especially on high settings. So that is a W for me. If you ask me, an additional 10 to 15 to 20 frames per second makes all the difference. So yeah, it's rocking an OLED display. The colors are very saturated and vibrant out of the box. Lenovo did a great job calibrating it. Also, this device is rocking a 8.8-inch display, which is 1920 by 1200p. So a little bit above, 1080p, 60 by 10 aspect ratio, 144 hertz refresh rate, VRR, and that's what we asked for, on the previous device, the predecessor, but it did not have VRR. So there were a lot of problems with the display, the aspect. There were just so many other issues occurring, but I'm glad that Lenovo listened to us with this device. So I'm extremely proud of them for listening. And then also, this device has 32 gigabytes of RAM, so plenty of memory. Of course, rocking 1 terabyte of storage as well. So yeah, they did a great job in the spec department. So, we're not lacking there at all. Now, the Legion Go 2 does have detachable controllers here. So if you wanted to, basically detach these controllers, you can simply turn them around and remove them by hitting the switch right here. And then bam, you can sit this device up with the flush flap on the back, and the device will sit up nicely just like this. Let me show you how this works. Bam. You know, you can bring it a little forward. You could slide it back and center just a little bit. It sits up straight. I mean, however you want it. You know, I have a Be Creators docking station, which I can show you right here. Let me push this back a little bit. This works. I'm able to plug this into my device. So I'll show you how it works real quick. All right, bam, this goes here. This part plugs in on top, right? And then what I would then do is I would go ahead and plug in my peripherals in the back. So if I unplug this real quick, I'm just gonna give you guys a quick brief. I don't want to get too away from the video. On the back, as you can see, there's a LAN port here. This is a USB fast port. This is the HDMI 2.1, and this is a power delivery port, right? So basically, this is a fast charging, I believe, up to 120 watts. So yeah, but this is my docking station here. So if I wanted to plug in a mouse, keyboard, whatever, a monitor, I could do all of that. Hence, you have a power port on the top of this device, which is here. And then on the bottom, you also have another port where you can plug in a display port, 2.5 millimeter headphone jack, and SD card slot. So yeah, right now I would say this device is winning in the boxing department because of the display itself and the additional ports. But I don't want to talk too much about the Legion Go 2 and not leave some space for the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, because this is supposed to be a fair fight. So let's talk about the Claw 8 AI Plus, and then I will get back to you in a second as far as the Legion Go 2. All right, so now we have the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus here in my hand. Now, this device is rocking the Intel Lunar Lake's Core Ultra 7 258-volt CPU and Arc Battle Mage GPU, right? So that is an iGPU of the Core Ultra 7 and the Arc integrated, which Intel has done a phenomenal job, by the way, especially in conjunction with Intel XeSS in their own frame generation. There were some struggles in the beginning when this device first came out. There were a lot of games that were supported, but they weren't supported, if that makes sense. In essence, just basically, there was no support because Intel was really in its infancy as far as this device goes, but things have gotten better later on. So as far as like the display goes, it is an 8-inch IPS touch screen, 1200p resolution, so a little above 1080p, 16:10 aspect ratio, the same as the Legion Go 2. And this device has a 120 hertz refresh rate with 500 nits of brightness. So it does get much brighter than the Legion Go 2, but hence with OLEDs, you're not going to get the brightest of the brightest picture, because you're going to get the deepest blacks and the darkest of the darkest for full saturated colors. So we're not going to worry about that. This does come with 32 gigabytes of RAM as well, and it goes up to 2 terabytes as far as the M.2 SSD storage. So yeah, you know, practically the same specs on paper as far as the resolution, and as far as the memory goes, and as far as the SSD space. But things are a little different when it comes to other aspects of this device. So perfect example, on the top here, I have 2 USB-C ports, right? Both support up to 120 watts charging, right? I can do the same thing as I can with this device using the Be Creators docking station, which is, of course, plugging a monitor here, plugging a mouse, into this device as well. And then, of course, we have the SD card slot up here as well. So things are placed much differently. But I will say, in compared to the two, this device feels more ergonomic. It feels much better in the hand as opposed to the Legion Go 2. And that has to do with the design that I guess Intel/MSI went with. This feels a lot heavier. The Legion Go 2 is a lot heavier in the hand. It's bigger. It's 8.8 inches. But I feel like in the ergonomics department for holding it. It could have been a lot better. And I got big hands. I don't have small hands, but for a person with big hands to say it doesn't really feel as ergonomic, that's an issue. But I mean, I'm sure there are accessories. Like the previous one, there was something called comfort grips you could buy off of Etsy. Those work really well, so I'm sure they may fit on these as well. But for the most part, this device right here wins in the department as far as like, holding it. Now, I will say, let's talk about efficiency real quick, right? So efficiency in regards to like cooling, right? This device is much more cooler at high TDPs. This device, the Legion Go 2, is not as cool as far as high TDP. It does get a little hot, right? So Intel has done a great job efficiency-wise with this device. It really stays cool, especially at high temps. It doesn't show any signs of overheating. The Legion Go 2 does show itself when it gets extremely hot. So cooling and efficiency-wise, this definitely is a W. Not to take away the Legion Go 2, I do, really still love that device. But this device wins when it comes to ergonomics and efficiency. I think you all will know and understand whenever you get your hands on it, or if you have both, you know that this device is much cooler. As far as like being able to play at high temps and everything. So, yeah. Now, we're going to talk about battery life between these two bad boys. Okay, so battery life, playing on high settings, right, on both of them. I will say that on the Legion Go 2, I can get at maximum wattage, playing, let's say, Hogwarts Legacy. Let's use that as a guinea pig. I can get about 2.5 hours playing on maximum, right? To whereas on the Claw 8 AI Plus, I can get damn near 3 hours of gameplay at maximum TDP, and this is, not plugged in. My device isn't plugged in. This is just me basically playing it stock without being plugged into any specific battery extender or anything like that. This is just a stock battery, so very, very, very good there, I will say, on Intel's behalf. Again, not to take away the Legion Go 2's performance for 2.5 hours, that's still pretty darn good. But between each device, again, I will say the Intel MSI Claw 8 AI Plus wins. I'm getting, 3 hours. And if I was to lower the wattage down to like 20 watts and play at 1080p, I probably could squeeze out a lot more. But I will say, yeah, MSI Claw wins in ergonomics, and the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus wins in the battery department. Now, let's talk about weight and how heavy each one is, right? So I will say that the Legion Go 2 is about 2.3 pounds, and the Claw 8 AI Plus is under 2.5 pounds. So most people will say they weigh the same, and they do not. They do not weigh the same. I'm going to say the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus is about a half a pound, a half a pound in weight, a little less in weight than the Legion Go 2 is, just to keep it a buck. And the Legion Go 2 feels like a big boy, very heavy in the hand. If you were to hit if you were to hit somebody in the head with this, like, you could beat someone over the head with this. And no, I don't condone violence, by the way, YouTube, but if you were to hit someone with this, they would be seriously hurt. Someone would be hurt with this, but not as hurt as they would be with this. This boy is chunky, this Legion Go 2. But as far as weight goes, Legion Go 2 definitely has it by a half a pound, and the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus weighs a little less in weight. So I would say, yeah, the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus is much lighter in the hand. Now, the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus has an 80-watt-hour battery. The Legion Go 2 has a 74-hour-watt battery. So, as I just stated, a minute or two ago, Of course, you know, the MSI Claw AI Plus is going to last longer battery-wise, and this is going to be, you know, a lot less in battery, but it's not of significance. So please don't let that deter you from, you know, purchasing, you know, your device. You know, it's still, like I said, it's still pretty respectable at high wattage. So I don't want you all to say, well, one has a better battery than the other. It's a difference in, you know, battery life, but it's not a major difference enough for you to say, I'm going with this one over that one or that one, guys. It also all depends on what wattage you like to play at. I would say the sweet spot, 20 to 25 watts, you guys should still get comparable performance out of the devices, especially when gaming. All right, so we're down to the money question. It is your birthday, it is Black Friday, or it's Christmas, or whatever the occasion is, and you're asking yourself the money question, which one should I choose, right? And the answer to your question is, it just depends, right? So one has an 8.8-inch display with OLED technology. One has an 8-inch display with LCD technology, right? One has a Z2 Extreme powered by AMD. One has an Intel iGPU, which is the 258-volt Core Ultra 7 CPU and the Intel Arc GPU. So it's an iGPU total, period, right? One also has better efficiency when it comes to high wattage gaming. One has not so much better or comparable efficiency when it comes to power and consumption, right? But still, it doesn't take away either, right? One has better battery life when it comes to gaming at high wattages for long periods of time. One not so much. So again, it all boils down to preference. So if you were me, let's say, for example, or I were you, whatever, if that makes sense, and I'm in the market to choose a handheld gaming PC, it's still going to depend on what you want, how big your hands are, the ergonomics, right? Things like that. This device right here is very attractive, very pretty to look at. Think about it like this, right? Okay. You have a Honda Civic that's really great on gas. Doesn't have the state-of-the-art features in the vehicle, but it goes, you can drive it long distances. You get great gas mileage, takes regular gas, nothing premium, still can go the distance, but it's not like as attractive as this guy right here. This would be, let's say, you know, an S550 Mercedes-Benz, right? Sorry, yeah, S550 Benz 2025. This guy right here has an OLED technology for the display on the dashboard. The panel is OLED, where, you know, you can control things in your vehicle, like the heat and everything. You know, the panel has a bunch of USB-C ports. You can play games on it. The seats heat up. The seats in the winter, the seats get cool. In the summer, it has a foot massager. This has a back massager. I mean, this has the aesthetics. It's so pretty. It's beautiful. It's got so much going for itself. But the takeaway is it's not as good on gas, and it doesn't take regular gas like the Honda would. It's just premium gas only. So you gotta pay a little bit extra, right? So I know you all know I'm going with this. You're gonna pay a little bit extra for the aesthetics, right? However, though, with this one right here, you're not gonna pay as much and still get pretty good performance, right? So to answer your question, again, it depends on what you want. I like a combination of both, but I'm in a fortunate situation to be able to have both. But if I were you and I'm going shopping in this Black Friday, right? Ultimately, it boils down to you. What do you want? You like the 8.8-inch display, the big screen, the OLED display? Go with the Legion Go 2, right? It still performs great with the Z2 Extreme, but it's not a significant step up from the Z1, but you're still going to get enough pushing power for you to see the difference, right? Option 2, go with the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus if you can find it and it's available, right? Both right now are sold out in North America as far as I'm concerned, but they will restock soon. Go with this device if you want a little bit longer battery life as far as gaming at high wattages. If you want better cooling efficiency under the hood, go with this device, right? And it's a lot cheaper. You're not buying significant, but this one is going to be $1,300 plus tax. This one is going to be $999.99 plus tax, if you get what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, all on you. Just depends on what your taste is. But if I was to rate each one, I would give this guy right here a 9 out of 10. I'll give this guy right here a 9.5 out of 10, right? So you do the math and you choose. But I thank you. I appreciate y'all for the support. Again, let's get me to 1,000 subscribers. I'll be doing a much bigger giveaway. I'm going to announce the poll for the giveaway for 500 subs. And yeah, this is Straight to the Point Tech. I'm out. The next video that I will do is a comparison video as far as games go between these two devices, because I know that's what you all really want to see. I'm out. Peace.